from your perspective as a patient advocate, as a parent, what does real world data mean to you? What is real world data? What is real world evidence?
Well, for me, again, I'm going to look at it from I think when we talk about real world data and real world evidence right now, it is not something that is in the common vernacular of most patients. We're all patients. Most people, most of us have never heard those words, but in reality, those things are going to affect all of us in the future when precision medicine becomes something that is in the now, right? Because we're going to need that. A common disease that has thousands of people today is going to become more rare as we find out that there are specific things within that common disease, like rare cancers. Now we now have rare cancers. We understand so much more about rare cancers that cancer now is not necessarily a big one big group of people. They're a lot smaller, and the smaller those groups get, the more we're going to need different data to decide whether or not drugs work. And real world evidence and real world data is that. And those are the things that I consider to be. The other thing about real world data and evidence, if we actually knew what that was, it would be so easy to do this. But even like the health technology agencies are trying to determine what real world data is and how to use that data as evidence in clinical trials or in drug approval processes. Because if it, again, they want data that is going to work for that particular product or that particular drug, and not real world data. The same real world data doesn't work for every drug. So there's a lot of work that's going to need to go into whole understanding what data is needed, but it's going to include things like more qualitative data. We're going to have to talk. We're going to have to understand, especially in a rare disease community, things like quality of life, burden of illness, not side effect, the tolerance of side effects, the reduction in symptoms. Like these are important things for rare disease patients more so than maybe common diseases right now. But we also have to look at things like reduction in hospital stays, in lab visits, in doctor visits, caregiver burden. Can your parents, if you have a young child who is has a very devastating rare disease, does it mean one or both parents have to stay at home? Does it mean that they have to pay for caregivers so that they can go out to work? And what does this new treatment for this particular rare disease mean for the family and the community? So it's not just a patient-oriented thing; it's a more societal understanding of the costs associated with that particular disease when we ask ourselves whether or not that drug is effective and how much it should cost. Those are questions we've never had. Health technology agencies have never had to ask or have answered, but they're important